An exclusive piece of news we're tracking on ET now. This is about insurance companies. Now, these companies have shared their views with the industry regulator, the IRDAI, over the possible changes in GST, in goods and services tax, on policies, on premium that you pay on policies. And insurers, we understand, they are in favor of a cap of 12% GST, along with keeping the benefits linked to ITC, input tax credit, for health insurance premium. So in input tax credit, that's the levy offset mechanism that allows insurers to lower their tax liability. So that's an important piece as far as insurers are concerned. My colleague Anurag Shah is joining us with more on this here in Mumbai. Anurag, do tell us what the sector's ask is as far as the regulator is concerned on the GST front. So much buzz building about whether we'll do away with it entirely, because even within the government, those noises were very strong. But tell us what the sector is saying.
In December GST Council meeting, decision on insurance premium was deferred, and Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman said IRDA will provide crucial input on this matter. So IRDA asked insurance industry to send their suggestion on the GST rates on insurance premium, particularly on health insurance and term insurance. And as per our sources, insurance industry has submit their suggestion to regulator IRDA, and insurance companies and insurance industry is in favor of passing of any reduction of GST to the policy holders after the adjustment of input tax credit. So insurers want reduction in GST rates on health insurance, term insurance, but they want input tax ITC benefit also can be availed by the insurance companies, and therefore only insurance industry is against the exemption of GST on any segment, and they want especially in a health insurance premium, insurance industry is in favor of reduction of GST from 18% to 12%. So ITC benefit can also be availed, and if GST is exempted on any segment, then insurers will not be able to avail the ITC benefit. So suggestions on this issue has been forwarded from insurance industry to IRDA, and this again is likely to be taken up in a next GST Council meeting. Group of ministers has already suggested about exempting senior citizen premium and term insurance premium, but now GST Council to take a final call after IRDA's input.
So the input tax credit, as we understand it, Anurag, that's an important piece for the sector. So if there is a reduction to 5%, they won't get it. And of course, with 12%, they do get it. So that's what they prefer. Also, that fiery debate that has played out within the government and outside about the need to slash GST on insurance premium. So what does the industry now really want? A reduction or an exemption? We've got a certain amount of clarity, but what could be the way ahead? Amit Roy is joining us on this discussion. He's partner and leader of insurance and allied business at PwC India, and he's going to help us unravel the nuances of this issue. Glad you could make the time, Mr. Roy. Tell us why insurers are pushing for this 12% GST cap instead of what is the current 18%. Why is a reduction rather than a complete exemption their preferred route?
Thanks, Vikram, for inviting me for this very important issue, very close to the heart, and looks like that entire universe is conspiring to get something positive for the people as far as it is concerned to health insurance and, like Anurag mentioned, term insurance premium. It cannot be seen in isolation, and it cannot be said that sector alone is talking about a cap of 12%. Look, if they are talking about input tax credit, that in a way also offsets the operational cost for the insurers. And ultimately, the insurance companies pass on the cost to the consumer in form of premium. So in a way, if they are getting the credit, it's also for the benefit of better servicing, better benefits, and maybe exclusive features for the consumers. Complete exemption, yes, will take away the input tax credit that they normally get. So operational cost will go up. If operational cost goes up for the insurance companies, ultimately it will affect the premium of health insurance or term insurance in a not so positive way.
Mr. Roy, may I interject and just ask, how do operational costs go up? Just explain to us for a moment how input tax credit, the ITC mechanism, really works in the sector and how it benefits insurers. Why is it so critical in the context of health insurance premium?
If it is ultimately your taxable burden, if the taxability is getting offset by a particular thing, then your overall cash flow is better, right? And if you are getting that input tax credit, it is enhancing your cash flow to that extent. And definitely it eases the operational matter in a positive way, which is why, look, insurance anyways is a very low margin game. And if you talk about the India market, it's one of the cheapest market in the world. While if you talk about the claim experience, it's one of the worst market, unfortunately, in the world. They have to offset all that, and in a cheap market, very slight margin here and there also makes huge difference on
Right.
the premiums ultimately that they charge.
But
So
what
if the
about,
operational cost is higher,
yes, the
people will
operational
pay
cost
more.
is high, claims are also high. So in terms of the margins not being too high, they need the input tax credit is what you're saying. But what about policyholders, Mr. Roy? Do you see a reduction in GST and the subsequent adjustment of ITC getting them any real tangible benefits?
Absolutely, it's a big benefit. It's a significantly big benefit. The other thing that we are also knowing that the industry is talking about is complete exemption, maybe up to some sum assured, maybe a lower sum assured, and in any ways at the senior citizen level, they are talking about entire exemption. So lot remains to be seen on ultimately what comes up. These are the proposal. This is what is getting discussed. But at this point of a time, whatever is getting discussed is extremely positive for the policyholders. We'll get into significant reduction of premium, which is desirable, right?
The government's perspective, Mr. Roy, and the fiscal impact of this, given that the centre has drawn a revenue of 8,000 crore rupees from health insurance GST in FY24, how will any kind of tinkering with the GST slab or even its removal affect the government's finances?
Well, I am incorrigible optimist. GST is a function of the total premium that you collect. So if a better insurance premium is ultimately going to get us more coverage, your overall GST collection will enhance, your penetration will go up, government's ability to safeguard the citizens will go up. So it's all positive. So it will actually impact the entire GST collection maybe positively, because if the coverages will go up, more and more people will buy insurance, then overall collection will actually remain unaffected. That's how I see it.
Just to be able to wrap this up, and if I can ask you very quick questions about this, as far as the challenges are concerned, as far as being able to get one word going to describe the current GST on insurance premium, what would you say it is? That one word.
I would say that, lot of expectation with a business which has got very low margin,
Yes.
but expectations to the extent of very fair. I think that, it is a very valid expectation. I would say this is something which is a positive noise at this point of a time. The awareness which is going up in the process for health insurance is a very positive impact.
But what's the most
GST or no GST, you need health insurance
but what's
coverage.
the most significant benefit of input tax credit that you see for insurers?
I think, like I said, they have to manage the business with a very low margin, so the cash flow enhances, and that gives them the ability to give it to the customer in terms of better customer experience, faster claim experience, better servicing, more transparent product, and maybe a little more customized product. So overall, it is a positive story, and they need money to run their business.
Yeah.
So it's all good
And
that way.
very quickly, exemption or reduction, what's the quick fix for policyholder relief?
Unfortunately, there's no quick relief per se, because ultimately health insurance premium is not just function of GST, it's also function of healthcare cost. Look, India is a unfortunately very bad market for healthcare cost. Inflation of that is 14%, which is one of the highest again on the world. If you talk about the neighboring countries, they are around 7 to 8%, whereas in India, the cost of healthcare is going up by 14%. Maybe it will go up only. So it's a function of that, but at least temporary relief, I would say, is definitely towards the customers. And I hope more and more people actually turn up, queue up for taking health insurance. They need it.
Situation is something that the sector and indeed the economy would like, but thank you. We'll let you go with that. It's clear that a reduction in GST coupled with ITC retention could perhaps pave the way for a more accessible insurance market benefiting both insurers and policyholders. But we'll keep tracking that issue and keep a close watch on the upcoming GST Council deliberations. But time for us